Hey everybody, welcome back to Hey Let's Practice. This is Brett helping you practice your way through the Hal Leonard guitar method. And if you like the videos that we've been doing so far, then do me a favor, do all the YouTube stuff, subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment, let me know. Every little bit helps. So thank you very, very much. We are on page 30 in the book, in book 1 now, and we're doing something called rests. If you've noticed, then every time we've played a song, we've played every single beat of the song. Either we had a note that we were playing on that beat, or we were holding a note that we had played on a previous beat, we were holding it through. Well, in music, a lot of times we don't play anything. We play something for a few beats and then we stop. And then other people play for a few beats and then we come back and we play for a few beats. We might play for 20 or 30 beats and then we stop and we don't play for a while somebody else is doing something else. So these are called rests. So for every note value that we have a corresponding rest where we play, you guessed it, nothing. All right, and I'm going to show you what those look like, or you're going to see in the book what they look like, but I'm going to show you how to play them in tunes. So a whole rest is a box that hangs from the fourth line. It hangs down from the fourth line. It's a little box. So a whole note getting 4 beats of sound means that a whole rest gets 4 beats of silence. Now a half rest looks very much like a whole rest, except it's a box sitting on top of the third line of the staff. So a half note gets 2 beats, a half rest gets 2 beats. Now, what's the difference? How can I tell the difference? They're both boxes. The whole rest, think of it as being heavy, and it hangs because it's so heavy from the fourth line. And a half rest is lighter, so it can sit on top of the third line. Plus, the other clue is that in most time signatures, in 4/4 or 3/4, it wouldn't take up the entire measure. There would be other stuff in the measure. So usually if there's a whole rest, it's the only thing in the measure. Not always, but most of the time. And a half rest usually involves other things inside the measure. So those are 2 relatively simple ways to tell them apart. The quarter rest looks kind of like a really fancy 3, or one of my younger students said it kind of looks like a bat that's sort of flying sideways. So if it looks like a fancy 3 or like a bat that's flying to the side, that's your quarter rest. And a quarter note gets 1 beat, therefore a quarter rest gets 1 beat. Now here's the other problem. If I play an E and I don't do anything, it just keeps ringing, right? So what do I do to stop that sound? I have to touch the string to keep it from ringing. You've probably seen me do this at the end of tunes. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I touch the strings. It stops the sound, right? Well, I don't always have this hand free, so what I do is I use this part of my right hand, and I'm going to show you from this angle. I'm playing the note, and then I touch the string. Okay, I'm going to get a little closer to the camera so you can see what I'm doing, maybe change the angle a bit here. So here I've played the note and I'm going to touch, and it stops the string. Okay, now at first you might want to make a little bit of a big deal out of that motion. You might want to say 1, 2, or 3, 4, just to remind yourself that that's how we're stopping the note. Eventually, it's going to be really gentle. It's going to be really gentle. You're barely going to feel it, and it's not going to be any big deal. But at first, you almost want to exaggerate the motion a little bit. In the book, I think it says, use the edge of your right palm to touch the strings and work for little unnecessary movement. At first, it may be necessary for you to make a big deal out of it, like that. But eventually you'll just kind of, no big deal, okay? So let's take a look. We're gonna play through exercises 61 and 62. We're not gonna bother saying the notes on these because it's only E in 61 and it's only G in 62. What we are gonna do is we're going to count it exactly the way it says in the book, and we're then going to count it by simply saying the counts out loud, and we're going to do the rest while we do the counts. Okay, so here's number 61. So we're going to say on beat 4 of the first measure, I'm going to mute. On beat 2 and 4 of the second measure, I'm going to mute. I'm going to stay muted on beat 1 of the third measure. I'm going to say E, 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 and then mute on beat 3 of the fourth measure. Okay? So we're going to say the counts, and we're going to play the notes, but every time it says rest, you're going to have your hand on that string. Well, actually, I've got my hand covering, I don't know if you can tell, I've got it covering pretty much all the strings at this point. Okay, so let's give this a shot. So number 61, nice and gentle, nice and slow, no big deal. You can speed it up later. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, rest. 3, rest, rest. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, rest, rest. Pretty simple, right? The reason we're going to do it the other way is because, as always, we always want to keep track of the counts. We want to know where we are in the measure and what we're doing during that moment. So now we're going to do exactly the same thing, but we're going to keep counting to 4. But where it says rest, I'm going to mute, and I'm just going to say the counts, okay? Let's try that and see how we do. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, pretty simple, and you'll get used to it. If it's a little awkward right now, don't worry about it. It'll get easier. Let's take a look at number 2, which is the same thing. Now, in 61, we used quarter rests and a half rest in the fourth measure. In 62, we have a half rest, then a quarter rest, then a whole rest. The entire third measure is rested. We don't do anything. Somebody else is taking a solo there, maybe singing something or something like that. And then we have other rests, quarter rests that we're playing for the other 2 measures. So again, now we're playing on the G string. Okay. If you hit the wrong string, it super doesn't matter because we don't care. We could play. It doesn't matter because the only thing that matters here is the rhythm, when you play and when you don't play. Okay, so here we go. Playing our G string. Find that real quick just for safety's sake. Yeah, okay, here we go. We're going to say rest when we don't play, and then we're going to say the counts and play the same thing. 1, 2, ready, slow. 1, 2, rest, rest, rest. 2, 3, 4, rest, 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 rest. 1, rest. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, rest. Okay, so far so good. Now, even in that exercise, it was keeping track of the counts. So this time, we're not going to say rest, but where it says rest, that's where we're palm muting. Okay, let's give it a shot. 1, 2, nice and slow. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're done. So hopefully that's pretty clear to you. The more you do it, the easier that it gets. And it's really not a big deal. Just kind of relax about it and say, oh yeah, we don't always play all the time, right? We play sometimes, other people play other times, and sometimes we rest. There you go. Take a little break for 1 beat or 4 beats or whatever. Okay. Hopefully you found this helpful, and I will see you in the next video for Deep Blue. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.